up, YouTube fans? Today we're going to take a look at the Zeta Toys Superitron-Mini, their version of a Legend Scale Superion. So this is the final bot in the series of Superitron bots. This is their version of Silver Arrow, or Sliver Arrow actually. The box says Sliver Arrow. I think that's a typo. It's supposed to be Silver Arrow. Of course, it's Silverbolt from the G1 cartoon. We're going to take a look at this guy, kind of his vehicle mode, robot mode, and then we'll get him into combined mode and we'll put him together and take a look. But let's take a look first at the jet mode, which is how he comes in the box. Get some painted detail on the nose cone. You do get the little fold down nose, which was accurate to the Concorde. It did have this little feature here, so you can do that. You get the yellowish windows all the way down. Yellow and black there for the tail fin. You do have the robot on the bottom, which is typical for these bots, no matter who makes them. Here's the back. You do have some engines here. All in all, pretty good looking jet mode, especially for a Legend scale. It does have some die-cast pieces in it, mostly down here. So these pieces here and then these pieces here, you see they have a slightly different shiny paint on them. Not quite the same color as this plastic, but close enough. So those are die cast here and here, and then the feet are die cast there. I do have a problem. I'm missing, you can see there's kind of a big gaping hole here. Well, that's because that's where the landing gear goes. So I'm actually missing the front landing gear on this copy. And it's not a huge issue in this mode, but you'll see in robot mode, it does cause a problem. So that's unfortunate. By the way, this was sent to me by Mr. G. Tony. I did mention that to him, and he is going to have to get some parts from the place he ordered this from. And for a quick size comparison, there it is next to the Zeta Toys Sky Strike, which we reviewed on this channel previously. He does make up the leg. You can see the Concorde's actually relatively small compared to this jet here, but good enough for Legend scale. Fits in just fine. Alright, now let's get this guy transformed into his robot mode. It is very similar, or relatively similar, to the full-size MP scale, but there are some differences just based on the hardware they've used here. So go ahead and unpeg these wings from here. Same on this side, unpeg it from there. We're going to kind of release all of this. This is just tabbed in. You can see there's 4 tabs kind of holding this together. Sometimes that can come loose on its own. I don't really love how it works, but that's how it works. Come to the back here, going to unpeg the tail section. Just going to take this and rotate this around to the front. Same on this side. Take this, rotate this around to the front. Then you're going to take this entire section, rotate around on this arm. It's going to come down and peg in on the front here. It pegs in a little bit loosely, so this may come out again as you're transforming it. So you can just kind of redo it. Go ahead and slide these downwards. That's going to fold inwards. And then that's going to fold down and sit like that on the side. All right, same on this one. Slide this downwards. Fold it in. And then fold that down. And these two things should peg into the side. And like I mentioned, they might move on you. All right, and then take this nose cone. This is going to come down to the side and sit down here. Fold this tail down and then the nose cone underneath. And that's what the backpack should look like. Now, I am missing, like I mentioned earlier, the front wheel. And that wheel would have gone into here and kind of solidified this backpack. But because it's not there, we're not going to be able to do that. So when we get to the end, this backpack is going to sit a little bit loose on its back, unfortunately. But go ahead and set that down, and now we'll work on this back part here. All right, so unpeg these from the side. They're just tabbed in right there. You can fold those over. That'll allow you to lift up this entire panel. And we're going to take the legs, unpeg the legs from each other, pull the leg down, and then it should snap in so that it kind of locks into place right here at the knee. Go ahead and take this panel, fold that down, fold your toe out here, and then close up this panel, and that'll tab one leg. All right, so same on this side. Open this up, pull the leg down, make sure you get that click. It's a very slight click. It doesn't click very loud. Fold out the toe, and then close this down. All right, now we'll work on the upper body. Come to here, take this, and this is going to fold up. There's a little tab right here on the front and back. That's got to work its way into here and here. It can be challenging to get it right, so you just got to line that up, look on both the front and back before you push. And then that's going to get tabbed in, and it's a very tight fit. I do worry about those tabs because they're tiny little plastic tabs. So be careful, but push it up and in. So you end up like that. All right, take the arm, fold that up. That's going to sit like that. This arm does the same thing as the leg. Pull it down so it locks in place. And then finally pull the hand out. And it only goes so far, so don't pull it too far, too hard. You might break that plastic. All right, so that's one side. Let's do the other side now. Go ahead and take the shoulder, bring this up. That's going to tab in here. And look on both the front and the back. Make sure you get this in, up and in to here. Same for the front. Fold this shoulder up. Pull the arm down until it tabs in. Go ahead and pull the hands down. And there is our arms. Fold this panel downwards. And we're going to take out the head, which popped off the joint. It's just on two little pins there. Go ahead and fold that back. It's going to tab in right there. And normally, if we had a working copy, we'd take this and then plug that into the back. But since it doesn't work, fold that upward, and this is just going to sit here. Unfortunately, it's going to sit loose, but that is how you do it. And there we have Silver Arrow, or Sliver Arrow, if you believe the package, in robot mode. And nice looking, at least from the front. You got a little bit of red paint there. This kind of shiny yellow plastic, shiny red plastic here for the chest. You got silver paint on the face with blue eyes. Die-cast metal here for the shoulder pieces with paint. Die-cast metal here for the shins, and then die-cast with black paint for the feet. Here's the back. Like I mentioned, the backpack doesn't lock in due to the missing piece. Overall, it does clean up okay. Not too bad. It's very, very similar to the full Masterpiece scale version from Zeta. Now you do get a gun accessory with this guy. It looks like this. Obviously, it makes up part of Superitron's gun. Go ahead and open this up. Open up the handle there. And that'll fit right into his hand. Oh, this doesn't feel great, so I'm just trying to be careful here, but there's his gun. Nice big gun there for Silver Arrow. Let's go over his articulation. The head is on a ball joint. It gets, back to there, down to there. Just be careful not to unpeg the entire chest. And you get a little bit of side to side out of that. The shoulders rotate all the way around. And again, they can come out of the side there if you're not careful. They will rotate upwards, but it will start pulling the chest apart. So you'll get that shoulder rotate up to there. Rotation at the bicep. You have a double jointed elbow, but it's here and here. So you can get the full bend, but it's a little weird how it works. Again, very similar to the Masterpiece scale. Oh, this backpack's coming apart on me. Rotation at the waist. Ab crunch gets you down to there. And I wouldn't have to hold this backpack if the backpack piece wasn't missing. You have hip skirts here on the side and on the front. Allow the legs to go up to there, back to there, out to the side. Rotation at the thigh. 90-degree bend at the knee. Ankle tilt. And then a toe tilt on that die-cast piece. So you can get a little bit of posing out of that. Again, very, very similar to how they did the Masterpiece scale. This is really starting to irritate me because it just keeps moving on you. So this, I imagine, it doesn't matter whether you have the wheel or not. All this stuff is going to move. But the front part at least would have been pegged in. But there you go for articulation. And for a quick size comparison, there is Silver Arrow next to the New Age version of Optimus Prime. Not sure if these are the same scale or whatever, but the Silver Arrow is just a bit taller than Optimus. Almost the same size, almost identical, but he's a little bit beefier as well. But there you go for scale. All right, now let's get this guy transformed into his combined mode, basically turning him into a cube. And it is similar to the full masterpiece scale, but a little bit different. So go ahead and take this backpack, set that aside. Now again, mine's a little bit on the floppy side, especially since I don't have that wheel piece there. By the way, off camera, I did get this arm to lock in, so it is locked in place there. It's not, and same with the hands do lock in. We're going to undo that now, so go ahead and take the hands, push those back in, and they're not going to go all the way in, and then collapse these arms down. And we're going to go ahead and take the chest, open that up, fold the head in, and that's going to tab back in. Unpeg the arms from the side, and they're going to come down to his waist there. Come to the back here, we're going to take these panels on his hip skirts and fold those up. We're going to take the legs and rotate it up. There's a square peg and a round peg hole, and they're going to peg into here and here. So make sure you line those up. And it's going to be hard to show you, but it should look something like that. Take the foot, fold that in, and that's basically one side done. So now we'll do the other one. And we'll fix this backpack after. It just gets in its own way. All right, go ahead and peg the legs together, and then get the square and round peg lined up, and tab that all together. Fold the feet in, and this is kind of what it looks like from the front. All right, go ahead and take the arm. You're going to rotate the arm around, and then you're going to fold the arms upwards, and those are going to tab in right here. There's a longer tab. Let's get that tabbed in. So same on this side. Rotate the arm around, and I guess we shouldn't have locked, so I'll show you how to get this locked in. You need to pull on the front and the back to get it to lock. So I like to pull on the back first and then the front, and that locks that arm in. So disregard my instruction to unpeg the arm, but you can push the hands in. Right, so it should look something like that. This is going to sit here normally, and there is a tab for that wheel, but like I mentioned, there's a problem with that on my copy. So we'll just get this on his back and pretend like it all pegged in, but normally you would peg it in right here. Right, and this is now ready, so let's get the chest piece. So here is the chest piece, very similar to the masterpiece version. Opens up here, and this is going to slide into here. Let's go ahead and take this and slide this in. It actually is going to fit right around this piece here. So make sure you get that. Make sure you push this all the way up. Right? Get this slid in. And then this comes down, and it's going to peg into the top and kind of hold that whole piece in. Yeah, so this is definitely going to be a problem, because without that pegging in, it's going to continue to just irritate the hell out of me. All right, well, we'll leave that alone. All right, next, go ahead and bring in your leg pieces here. So we actually reviewed these two on the channel, and you're going to put the feet onto the bottom here. Now the black one with the black top goes with this bot, the black bot, and the one with the white top goes with this white bot. So there's a little square peg there that's going to go around this piece right here, and then this is going to close around the back. So get the square piece in, make sure it fits in there. It does fit in very nicely. Then close this around and give it a nice squeeze, and that's what you should have. So go ahead and do the same thing over here. Get that around, and then give this a nice squeeze, and then that should sit down on the back. All right, now we'll get these in here. So again, all of this works exactly the same as the MP scale, but open this up just a hair. That'll allow you to slide this peg into here, and then close that back down. And then on the sides, we're going to peg. There we go. And then sides peg this in, and that's what's going to hold those legs on. All right, so we'll do the same thing over here. Open up this back just a little enough to get this peg slid through, and then close that back up, and then attach these two side pieces there. All right, next go ahead and get your arm pieces here. And you want the red one on this side and the white one on this side. It does come with hands here. They are side specific because obviously the thumb. So go ahead and come to the bottom, open this up. That'll allow you to take the hand and that's going to slide into there. And it is a pretty firm fit. So and then come to this side, close that around and give that a nice squeeze. Try not to put the pressure on these thin wing pieces, right? Put the pressure on this body here. Okay. So you should end up with something like this. All right, next go ahead and come to the back here. We're going to open up this little piece here that's just on a rotating screw piece there. And this little notch is going to slide into here. And I think it only goes one way. Let's see. Yeah, so that fits in just like that. You want the slot, so the squared off piece should be going inside like that. And then close this down, and that's going to hold that arm in. All right. So same thing on this side. Go ahead and take the end here, open this up. Get the hand wedged in between. Here we go. And again, try not to push on the wings. Push on the body or the fuselage to squeeze that together. It should squeeze all the way together when you're done. Right. Make sure you have this rotated such that the squared off part is to the front. Come here, fold that panel up, take this and slide that in, and then bring this down. Right, so there's your arms. Now finally we're going to take care of the head. Now the head, you do have a couple options here. So you can either use the G1 style head here. They are translucent red. I thought they might have light up features, but unfortunately they don't. There's space for a light up LED in there, but there is no LED, so unfortunately you don't get one. But I'm going to put in the G1 head since that makes him look more G1 totally. And then you can put on the G1 chest if you prefer. So this is just a plastic piece. There's two tabs right here. Those are going to fit in right there. If you want to use this piece, you can. I'm going to put it on there because I think that's the look that people would want. And there you have Superitron in his fully combined mode. I have to say it does look really cool. Got some nice detail and paint. You know, obviously all the paint that we had on the robot mode shows through here, but there's some additional paint here. So you got some silver paint here on the knee pads, silver on the toes here. The hands have a little bit of silver paint here. And then the chest is die cast, this piece here, which is fully painted. If you don't use the plug-in chest, you got little red details here, but this piece here is die cast and painted. If you do put on this piece, the red on this piece is painted as well. So you do get some nice paint overall. And then the face mask is painted with that silver. Now, of course, you can use his accessories here. So here's the gun that we combined earlier. Go ahead and open up the hand here. And this is what I mentioned. The thumbs like to pop off. We'll talk about that during articulation. There's a tab here that's going to fit into the palm. So get that in there. Yeah, it's popping out, so I'm not sure. Let's try the other hand. I am noticing some issues with tolerances. And okay, that one fits a little better, so why don't we put it in this hand since it works. Gosh, these fingers. Okay. There you go for the gun, and this is continuing to pop out as well. Boy, I can't catch a break with this thing. Okay, there we go. Then, if you want, you can use the alternate head here, and you just pop that off, pop this one on, and then go ahead and take this chest plate, and you can have the more toy look there. You get some nice articulation, but there are some things kind of just in the way. But let's go over that. So the shoulders will go up to here and things will start coming apart on you, so you just got to be careful. But Shoulders go up to there, rotate it around, and it is ratcheted. You have a rotation here at the elbow and at the bicep. It is a single jointed elbow, but because of all the stuff in the way, it starts getting collided. Now, if you prefer, you can take, I think you can take these off. Let's see. I'm pretty sure you can take these off. Maybe not. I guess you can't take off the wings like you could with the Masterpiece version. So that would have been a nice little option there. Let's see. Do these come off? No, I don't see these coming off. So not unlike the Masterpiece version, these you can't take them off and make it a little bit more less kibbly. For hands, you have a rotation at the wrist. It does go in and out, so you can get this kind of pose. The fingers are not as sturdy as the Masterpiece, and that's because they're on ball joints, and it just gets a little bit loose. And then this thumb tends to pop off. It's on a C-clip, which I don't love. As I was trying to get it down into here, so it tends to pop off the C-clip as you're doing that. And I don't love that, but they are really nice hands. They're articulated very nicely. They kind of remind me of KFC, the way they did it with ball joints. And I'm not a huge fan of the KFC hands, but they're okay, especially for a legend scale, not too bad. And I am noticing this continues to come out. So let's see if this one does that. Now this one's okay. All right, continuing down, your rotation at the waist, it is ratcheted. Obviously, I have this little problem on the back. He does have an ab crunch, so you get down to there. It does have that little piece down there, so you can't get him bent over. For legs, you have hip skirts on all three sides. Goes up to there on a ratchet. We'll leave that chest piece off. Goes back to there, a nice hold on it. And then out to the side on a ratchet, that holds very well as well. Rotation at the thigh. You have a double jointed knee, but due to the sculpt, you get basically 90 degrees out of it. Ankle tilts all the way that way, and forward and backward. Again, this starts coming apart as you manipulate. So just due to the friction joints they're using, some things do come apart as you're manipulating. But you get some nice articulation on his combined mode. And for a size comparison, there it is next to the New Age Optimus. Comes up to a little past his knees. So pretty good scale, seems to fit in just fine. And for another size comparison, even though it doesn't make sense, I just wanted to see with the Masterpiece version here, Zeta Toys Superitron, it does really look like that Masterpiece version. But obviously much smaller, comes up to his knee on the Masterpiece version, but there you go. So final thoughts on the Zeta Toys Mini Superitron. Let's start with the positives. I think they did a good job on the sculpt and paint. It is very, very similar to their original Masterpiece scale version. A lot of the same details and decos, of course, here. I do like that they put the silver and the little details and accents all over. They didn't cheap out and leave that stuff off. So he does look good. He does have a nice look to him. Another positive is it's pretty solid in this combined mode, other than the issue I mentioned here. He does hold together, his limbs don't fall apart or anything like that, and he does tend to hold the pose that you put him in. So nice pose, nice articulation. I do feel the quality's not quite there compared to New Age, for example. For example, I am missing that landing gear here that would have allowed this backpack to stay together. Little things tend to come apart, like as you're manipulating this arm, you can see this panel keeps coming out. So you just kind of squeeze it back together. Not a huge deal, but it just is kind of irritating. As you're playing with it, manipulating it, some things tend to come apart. For the legs here, these panels don't always stay locked in. So little stuff like that. Now, is it going to come apart as a combiner? No, it's going to sit there and look beautiful on your Legend scale shelf. It looks great with Optimus here or any other Legends that you might have. And I think it's probably going to be one of the better versions of Superion that we get. Individual modes, not great. I don't love the robot modes. The Silver Arrow especially is not well done. in terms of the quality. It just feels kind of loosey-goosey. The plane modes are okay. All of them tend to have some pretty good plane modes. They're pretty solid. But the combined mode is really where it's at for this guy. That's what it's put together. That's what it's meant for. They might have even just given us the limbs and forget about the robot modes, but they have to do it, of course. So I do recommend it for the combined mode. I don't really recommend it for the individual modes. The jet modes are okay, but I don't know who's buying this for jet modes, right? If you're doing the Legends, you're probably going to do combined mode, right? Or robot modes. Now, New Age is probably going to make this as well. I have to imagine they're going to have some really nice quality on it. But as far as individual modes, you probably would be better off with a company like New Age. Combined mode, you're probably better off with this version here. So that's it for today. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.